What happened in the world of crypto this week? Well, here to talk with me about it is Peter Gantner from TruBadger. Peter, welcome back to another episode.
Hey, Bob, how are you today?
I'm great, thanks, Peter. And it's always great to chat with you because I know there's always something new that happened this week in crypto. Where do you want to start?
It's a pretty fast-paced, moving space here. I think talking to a lot of people over the last few weeks, because we have our Zoom rooms where we set people up and we walk them through getting wallets set up and that. I think a big disconnect, and we've covered this maybe on a past show, but I really want to get into this. Why is cryptocurrency valuable? Where does its value come from? How do you know which ones to possibly get involved with and which ones not? And the simple answer, at least from my perspective, is cryptocurrency is a representation of the blockchain. The blockchain is what creates value. It creates value in security. It creates value in decentralization. What do I mean by that? Just recently, China, I think, did their 13th or 14th ban of Bitcoin. But the thing is there's no central person for them to go after to shut it down. There would only be one way to shut down cryptocurrency at this point, and that would be to shut down the entire internet. And that would be a devastating effect for the world. So it's not one entity that they can say, hey, let's go after this person and it will stop it. I think that was the reason for Satoshi to keep his name private. He understood that. And since they couldn't get to him, the followers that started to attach to the project, the people who believed in what it was doing, they couldn't go after them because they weren't the founders. They weren't the starters of it. So the power of the cryptos that you're looking for, in my opinion, I'm not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. But what I look for are ones that have utility. And what I mean by utility is they have a job. They do some type of function. Amazon's utility is what? They deliver packages to my house and they do it right away. It's convenient for me. Those are the values, right? That's the utility of it. So in crypto, it's the same thing. What's the utility of the blockchain that's behind that's behind the cryptocurrency, right? So meaning, is it going to help you keep better records? Is it going to help you trade in the space? Is it going to allow you to do title searches super fast? Is it going to allow you to control your medical history, your medical data? What is the functionality, that the value that's going to provide? Because I believe that the cryptocurrency and the blockchain is going to be exactly like regular businesses, right? Businesses have products, they have services, they generate money. And when they generate that money, that creates a value for the company, right? Because they have cash flow. There's the ability for the project to become profitable. Mm-hmm. So that is what I look for in a project is, what's the long-term future? In 5 years, is there a product that they will be selling to either businesses or to people that will generate revenue for that project, then that will put revenue behind it? Right now, a lot of the cryptos are simply this. Somebody wants to buy it and somebody wants to sell it. If there's more people buying it, then of course the price is going up. If there's more people selling it, the price is going down. But I don't think people are really looking at the utility of it in the long term. It's like, how much money can I make today, this week, tomorrow, versus can I find the Amazon 20 years from now today and get involved with it early enough to where my returns would be astronomical in that fashion. The other side of it too is there's two ways cryptos are set up. One is the crypto is the project, and one is there's a company that launches a crypto. I like the ones where the crypto is the project, right? Because then 100% of what is produced by that project is owned and controlled by the cryptocurrency holders versus a company pulling in money from it, and then just all you have is that side of it. So those are kind of a couple of differences that I think is very clear to get across. Now, of course, we don't know what's going on. We had talked a little bit before that Gensler talking about to do any type of ban or anything would take Congress to do that. Well, the rules and everything that gets put into place, we'll know as that moves along. I believe one of the keys to this is having experienced business people being behind these projects. So you can get the young kids, but having them with some experienced business because that's going to make it for them to be able to navigate this this regulatory environment much better and build the projects to where they can adjust to the possibility of change when those regulations come into play.
Right. So just two follow-up questions. As you think about identifying utility for the average person, sure, someone could go on a website and read a white paper, but do you recommend that they dig even deeper than beyond reading what a project has published on its website?
So one of the things that you can do is connect with them on the social media, ask questions there. This is a little bit, I think it's a little bit different than regular business. Regular business, it's pretty hard to get a hold of a CEO of a decent sized company. There are CEOs of tokens that are in the 40, 50, 60, $100 million market cap right now, that if you go on and you go into their Telegram and you go into these, they're connected to the community still. We're one of those projects. TruBadger, we connect, we answer people, we're in that realm, and we're at about a $38 million market cap right now. So the key is read through the white paper. First thing is do you believe that the project has real value? Is it something that you would use, or is it something that you believe the marketplace needs? That's the basis to start. Reading the white paper is a great way to begin to do it. Look at their Medium articles. Look at if they're delivering on their timeline, right? And now that doesn't mean there won't be some adjustments, but are they updating their timeline? Are they delivering on their timeline? If they're not delivering, are they resetting those goals? How are they communicating with the community? So for many years now, I've said the term that community is commerce, right? It's the power of a community. And that's never been more true than in blockchain. And so the projects that are connecting really well with their community will then be given by the community support the resources to then become successful. If they can't keep the community, they'll run out of resources and eventually end up going out of business. So strong community building, strong team, utility that has a future to it, not a future over the next 4 weeks, right? But a real 5, 10, 15, 20-year future. And then ask questions, go on their Telegram. And if you're asking questions, most of the projects will have AMAs. Go on and ask the questions on those AMAs. So go to their site, say, when's your next AMA? And then you can go on and you can ask those questions. And don't be afraid to ask tough questions. If they won't answer the tough questions, they're probably not going to, they're probably not going to be a good fit to get involved with.
Right. And on the second point, you mentioned the difference between the two entities. You had a preference for one over the other. Talk a little bit more about doing due diligence to determine which is which from, your perspective.
Yeah. So DAOs, decentralized autonomous organizations, that means that the crypto represents the organization versus corporation. So an LLC or a corporation. The other way that you can do it is through foundations. So you've got DAOs and foundations. Those are the projects that you're looking for, ones that are run by DAOs and foundations. Now, some of the foundations will have a for-profit software company that's providing the software to the foundation. But at the end of the day, the foundation ends up owning the software in most of those cases. I think we talked a little bit about this, or maybe I did a recording on ADA, Cardano, and the way that they're set up and the structure. I think I actually did a video on that.
Right.
That's out there that talks about their corporate structure. And that is important to look at it. What is it? What's the formation of that organization? Again, DAO and foundation are two. But even if it's a foundation, then you need to look behind that and see, is there a for-profit company? How does that for-profit function with that? And you know what? You don't have to do a ton of research. You need to go on an AMA, or you need to go somewhere and ask, what is your corporate structure? How is it set up? And how does if they say we're a foundation and we have a for-profit, you can ask the question, how does that work? Let them be transparent with you and engage with them. Because again, the biggest feature here, technology is huge. I was talking to someone in blockchain. Blockchain is a perfect technology. There's not many out there, and it might be the only one. But when you understand it, it is perfect. Smart contracts, blockchains, all of those have a perfect functioning one, and as long as the technology is set up right. So the biggest element is that community. So when you engage, this is part of your due diligence, is asking questions, seeing if they are answering them. Are they communicating with you? And are they communicating with anyone in the community? How many AMAs are they having? Do they have a robust Telegram group or a Signal group? We're actually moving from Telegram to Signal because too many people are imitating people on Telegram. So we're moving to Signal. Signal is a blockchain-based social media program where Telegram is not.
So a bit ago, you mentioned that China banned crypto for the 13th and 14th time. Bitcoin seemed to survive this bit of news this week.
It has, and a matter of fact, this is probably the least impact that it ever had on it because it's becoming old hat. People have finally realized. I think when they did it to the miners, so a few months ago, China banned mining in China, and everybody thought that was going to be a devastating blow to Bitcoin for some time, or at least a lot of people did, because it's a network, a decentralized network. Within a very short period of time, the gap was completely filled. And so the hash rate had dropped on Bitcoin to pretty low compared to where it was before that. It is back as strong as ever before. Why? Because it's a decentralized network. You shut it down here, somebody else turns on the switch and starts taking that job over. That's the beauty of blockchain. It's the beauty of it. You know, there's this major storm in a country or a power outage in that country. It's a global network. So all it does is affect a small portion of it, which is not necessary for it to run. And then once the power comes back on, or somebody else will pick up that side of the network. That's the power of blockchain. It's the power of a decentralized organization over a centralized organization. And I believe in my life, there's room for both centralized and decentralized. That balance, we had talked a little bit about countries coming out with their own currencies, right? So China's working on a cryptocurrency. The US is working on a cryptocurrency. Other countries, I think Switzerland is working on. There's a whole ton of countries that are working on their own. Those will be centralized cryptocurrencies. They'll utilize the technology of the blockchain. They'll utilize the features of it, but they'll be centralized. And then there will be decentralized ones like Bitcoin, Ethereum, and these other ones. I believe both can survive, both can make it. It's not an either or. It just depends on you looking at it and saying, where do I want to put, where do I believe in the most on it? But I believe that with China trying to do that for so many years and completely failing at it, right? As a matter of fact, every time they do it, Bitcoin becomes stronger, and not just stronger in the world, stronger in China itself. So it's not like, well, okay, China banned it, so now they're not using it and it gets bigger around the rest of the world. No, it gets stronger every time any country goes to do any of this stuff. India has tried it. Other countries have tried it. And every time it pushes more people into it, not less people. And the people that are already into it dig in their heels even further to make it happen. So again, it proves the power of decentralized networks and the value that they provide to society. Now, there's always the negative side of it. And the negative side of it, in a decentralized world, we are more responsible for what happens to us and for us. So there's the responsibility side of it in a decentralized world. And that's why I believe centralized and decentralized can both work. People that want safety and security will stay in the centralized side of things. People that are willing to take a little more risk and be more responsible for what they're doing will jump into decentralized. Decentralized, I believe, will have a lot more opportunity than centralized, because with personal responsibility, I believe, comes tremendous opportunity. If you're giving up that personal responsibility, then your opportunity drops, and the people you're giving that responsibility to then get more wealth, power, and that type of stuff. So it's and I don't think one side's bad or good. That's the way the coin flips. And there are people on both sides of it, and they're on it for whatever reason they've made those decisions.
Right. So it looks like certain countries and states are also seeing the opportunity. Panama, El Salvador, Texas. Care to comment on developments there?
Panama is looking at embracing it, as El Salvador has already embraced it. There was a little kerfluffle, I guess we'll call it, in their country, some protests and people that were more on the traditional side of things. but it's working out and it's beginning to bring opportunity into their country. And I think for El Salvador, it's along the lines of, if you're going to collect something, the possibility of collecting something that's going to go up in value. So I collect $1, my dollar is going to be worth at least $1. Maybe with some, inflation, it's going to be worth 98 cents or 97 in buying power, but I still have $1. But if I can acquire $1 in Bitcoin, and it does what people believe it's going to do and go up 5, 6, 7x, then my treasury is getting bigger, not just by bringing in more. My treasury is getting bigger because of what I'm holding in it. And I believe that's what these poorer countries that are saying, hey, how do we get ourselves out of this economic drought? How do we create more opportunity along those lines? And I think that some of the countries are saying, look, we'll embrace cryptocurrency. We'll be the place for people that believe in it. If they want to move here, they can move here. If they want to do business here, they can do business here. And they're one of them. Panama's talking about it right now. And of course, I believe we've mentioned on a couple of news things in the past, mayors are starting to look at and are issuing city coins, right? So Miami coin, these different cryptocurrencies that are out there, then they're meant to give people the ability to own a token from that city. So there's the ownership pride of it, but then also give and create financial opportunities for these cities by being able to, monetize their own cryptocurrencies, their own tokens.
Yeah. Talk a little bit more about Texas and what you see going on there.
So China shut down. Texas said, hey, bring our mining here, right? Bring your mining to us. And so a lot of the mining that was shut down in China, what created jobs and opportunity. And, there's the debate on the clean, dirty side of mining. I think, again, the biggest thing is that somebody took up the mantle and said, you know what, you guys want to shut it out. You don't want people to do it. We'll go ahead and embrace that and make that happen. So it's creating jobs, it's creating opportunity. And one of the things is, and this is kind of one of those ironic things in life, everybody would say, oh my goodness, Bitcoin's not good because the mining is all in China and it's a communist country. Yeah. Well, then when China went to shut down the mining, everybody went, oh no, China shut down. I went, thank goodness, man, let's get it out of there and let's get it into more stable, places as far as freedom goes, right? Mm-hmm. Not that China's not stable, but more freedom-based places. And that's exactly what happened. So it was a problem that needed a solution. Banning it created the solution to the problem that existed, which is too much of the mining power in a country that doesn't have quite as much freedom as we believe in.
Yeah. So in terms of Bitcoin crypto being validated, two things sort of popped up on my radar screen. One was AMC announcing that it would accept Bitcoin for payment at the movie theaters.
Yeah. Now imagine, that you're able to now take cryptocurrency and pay for your popcorn and pay for your drink and your movie ticket. I think that's been one of the questions out there. Could cryptocurrency ever become something that we would actually use? Mm. So right now I own it. It goes up in value. I make money. It goes down in value. I lose money. But really if I have it and let's say I've lost a little or I'm even or I'm up a little bit, what do I do with it other than cash it in and then take it back and go back to fiat, right? It shows now that it's moving towards you don't have to cash it out. You could say, I'm up. I'm going to use this one today to pay for my movie ticket because I'm up 21%, and consider that you probably got a 21% discount on your movie ticket, right? Because you started with $1, now you got $1.21. Not that you can go to a movie for $1.21. All right, you started with 10, you went to 12.10, right? Let's do that right there because I think that's about what movie tickets are right now, about $12, $13. But it really is a big step because one of the issues about it has been with a currency that fluctuates as much as crypto does, right? Going up 6, 7, 8% in a day. How could it ever become a usable thing? Mm-hmm. And the answer to that is people adjust. Systems are built. So what has happened now is there's services that the minute I pay for my ticket, AMC is able to automatically convert that back into US cash, right? So they don't take the risk on it. The services are taking the risk on if it's fluctuating. So that's the way it becomes. I can walk in the store, what is Bitcoin at that moment, exchange it for that value, the business exchanges it for that value, and then the people on the other side that are providing that service take the risk of it either going up or down. So those are the types of solutions. That is the great part about what we're at right now. And this happened during the internet time, right? People came up with these today we take them as commonplace, right? Being able to buy airline tickets or having products delivered to our doors, but there was no solution. I mean, if you really think about it, either before the internet, you had products shipped to you, or you hired a local delivery person who cost a fortune to get something to your house, right? And now all of a sudden you go online and you buy a product and it shows that you're up at your door in minutes. And if you're a Prime member, it's free to even get it brought to your door, right? If I would have told you that 20 years ago, you would have said, there's no way, it's not feasible, it's not possible to be able to do that. You know, one of the other sides that's been talked about for a long time, and we thought the internet would bring it in, would be microtransactions, and it hasn't been able to. Blockchain is going to do that. And that is one of the biggest opportunities in cryptocurrency and blockchain. If you want to see something that's going to really drive this and make this work, is imagine being able to actually buy something for a dime and not have fees get eaten up. Right now, you can't do business for a dime, right? Because the fees, the transactions, the accounting, and all that stuff. In the blockchain, I believe I've talked about this before, you will be able to do a dime. And the reason why is because there won't be any accounting. Right. If it was me, Bob, and 5 other people that got together and we all wrote a paper and we say, hey, it's a dime to buy this paper, and there's 7 of us, it will divide up that 10 cents to all 7 of us. You know, Bob's the smartest of us, so he's going to get 2 or 3 pennies, and all the rest of us split a penny each, right? And we're golden that way, right? Yeah. And I don't have to go chase Bob because Bob started it, right? And brought me in and said, hey, can you help me? And I don't have to chase Bob for my 700 pennies, right? No. They come directly to me, and Bob gets his share and everybody else gets their shares. I want you guys to think about that from a value proposition on music, on art, on being able to educate people. Those are powerful mechanisms. So microtransactions and the ability to use smart contracts to eliminate some of the hassles. How many lawsuits are there right now because of accounting issues where somebody disagreed on an accounting way of doing things? In the blockchain, it's set in the smart contract, and it's just executed on. I just see that's why I believe in this. It's not just I own crypto and I want it to go up. It's because I believe in the underlying technology and the value that it's going to provide for society.
Yeah. So it strikes me that others believe in it too. U.S. Bank announced that it would now custody crypto.
So think about this. Would you take custody of something that you would think would be, that's going to go away? Or would you, if you're a solid business and you're going to take custody of something, and of course, when you take custody, you're charging people money to take custody of it. So taking custody of something that's worthless would be a bad business move from a business perspective. So you've got to have some sense of belief in what you're taking custody of. Otherwise, and even on the regulatory side, you're going to take custody of something, you're probably not going to do it if you believe that there might be issues down the road that would completely eliminate it, right? There might be some issues where things change, but you wouldn't do it on something that you believe. At least that these, again, my ideas, my concepts, my my thoughts on those issues.
So I'm just doing a scan of the news with respect to crypto. So let me go back to you mentioned Gensler a second ago. He's saying that it's up to Congress to regulate or ban crypto. Any thoughts about the prospects of Congress actually taking this on?
I don't see it. I mean, if you think about it, so their constituents, people or individuals own cryptocurrency. I don't know if I'd be voting for someone who banned something that hurt me financially, just on a common sense wise. Most of the big companies that are holding large sums of crypto are in states that I think people like to get reelected. And if you hurt shareholders of companies, I think you're there. So I don't see a ban coming. I do see changes coming, and that's inevitable. I think some changes to it. But I think the chances of a complete ban are slim to none, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a very slim chance that you're going to get. And this is not just, it's not a right or left issue, right? It's not Republican, Democrat. There's probably some Republicans that are for and against it, and there's probably some Democrats that are for and against it. But I don't think you'd find enough against it to do an all-out ban on cryptocurrency in the US.
Yeah. So I do want an update on TruBadger, but first, one of the questions I always get from folks is around how to find the next crypto unicorn. Any thoughts about that?
Again, it goes all the way back to team, utility, and then how they interact with community, because community, people is what's going to drive market caps.
Yeah.
So if you have a great team that can project a long-term vision of it, you're going to get a lot of new people coming in, and more buyers equal a higher price than more sellers.
Yeah.
So it's a key component of it for doing that. Part of it too is getting involved with communities of people that you know. I wouldn't go to strange groups online. Okay, I'm sorry to say, is though that's able to be manipulated. I would not take my advice from most of the influencers out there on YouTube or anywhere. Okay, most of them are paid, and there's nothing against that, right? They have to make a living too, but they're not necessarily always finding the best projects. They're finding the ones that are interested in paying them. Hopefully they're not the ones they don't believe in, they're not picking.
Yeah.
And just because an influencer talks about it does not mean that a crypto is going to go through the moon and to that. So yeah, I would just focus on what we talked about when you start vetting it. Do you believe in it? Do you think it? And by the way, it might not be a unicorn tomorrow or next week or next month. Solana is a great example. Started back before the last boom in 2018. It just boomed and became a unicorn recently, right? I mean, it was already a decent market cap in the hundreds of millions of dollars, but it's gone into the billions. I think it's up 54x, 45x, somewhere in there from where it was 7 months ago. So if you were buying and accumulating Solana when it was 30 cents, $2, $1, $4, $5, all of those, I think it's at $170, $180 token right now, right?
Yeah.
So you would have been up on all of that but it wasn't overnight. If you would have bought in 2018, by 2020, you would have made maybe a few bucks, right? Your 20, 30 cents token would have become a couple dollars. It's been in the last 7 months. So look for unicorns, but don't look for overnight unicorns, because I'm going to give you some advice right here. Every overnight unicorn that I've seen, by the time very shortly, they break their horn and they become non-unicorns. Okay, so they lose their unicorn status. They shoot up like a rocket ship and they shoot down just as fast. And the problem is, you always think, well, I'm going to buy low and sell high. Nobody ever knows the top until it happens, and nobody ever knows the bottom until it happens. So unless you have a crystal ball, and if you have a crystal ball, you don't need to pick cryptocurrencies. You just ask it for the next lottery numbers, and you could have just made 625 just here in the last one, right? So you don't need that. So quit trying to guess. Find great projects, get behind them. Again, not financial advice. Cost average into them, right? And then cost average out when you think it's starting to make steps, and you should be in great shape.
All right. So update on TruBadger.
We're doing well. We had a little dip about 3 weeks ago, recovered that. Right now we're at about a $36 million market cap. So you could have got involved about 3 weeks ago at about a 12 million, and now it's at 36. So that's not too bad of a thing on the financial side of it. On the business side, we launched our first token of our ecosystem, which is Insights. This is a cryptocurrency trading software that's very unique. We've got a lot of interest in it to get involved with it. Our next, and we also launched our platform, Catapult Swap. So 2 of our projects, we've been launching Safufied. Safufied, I'm really excited about. It will stop people from losing their assets from their wallets if they end up giving up their 12 seed words, or they end up clicking on a hack link, or they get stuck in a honeypot. And if you want to know what those are, we did a definitions one. You can go watch that, but it'll stop that from happening, meaning it can still happen, but they won't lose their funds because of the way we've set it up to use multi-sig wallets to protect individuals. A lot of the bigger projects have been using multi-sig wallets to protect assets. But now what we've done is, and we're going to really drive this, is using multi-sig wallets to protect assets for individuals by having it where you have your wallet that you have all your assets in, and you have a second wallet. When you do a transaction in the first wallet, you need to confirm it with the second one through Safufied. Now, all of a sudden, if somebody goes, if you give up your seed words or your password, or your system gets hacked and they go to transfer, let's say you're 1,000 Bitcoin out, or not 1,000 Bitcoin, that might be a little much. Let's say 1,000 BNB, that's only about $440,000 right now. If they go to do that, then it's going to give the thing, and it will not do anything. It won't leave until you look in your wallet. You look in you through Safufied, you go to your wallet, it's going to say you're transferring out, your 440 BNB. You're going to go, no, I did not. You're going to hit reject. It will reject the transaction. Then what you can do is, because that wallet is compromised, you can set up a new wallet, then go ahead and do the transfer, verify and approve that transfer. It now goes to the new wallet. You hook that one with Safufied with your protected device, and you're golden, and you did not lose anything. That will be launching on the 15th of October. That project will be fully launched. So we've got 3 projects. And then, of course, our NFT project is coming in the first week in December. We'll start working with NFTs. And again, if you don't know what those are, you can go to the definitions. They're non-fungible tokens, and you can learn a lot more about that. There's a lot of big news coming, a lot of interest and a lot of excitement about NFTs, both from a art, music, collectible perspective, and also from a document perspective, and also from a financial perspective. So maybe that's a show that we can talk about, Bob, in the future, is the different ways that NFTs are being used. Because everybody, when you mention it, they only think about a piece of artwork. So people selling for that. But there are a lot of uses for NFTs moving forward, including the possibility of you being able to use your medical records, create an NFT and send it to the doctor, and it only has the medical stuff that you want him to get interest in, and also packaging together assets. I own 30 assets. I want to put them together. I bundle those into an NFT, and then I sell the NFT, and I sell all 30 assets along with it. Wow. Interesting, fantastic stuff, great technology. And again, thanks for having us on the show and for giving us this opportunity.
Yeah, it's always a pleasure chatting with you, Peter. I learned so much, and I'm sure our viewers do as well.
Well, we love sharing the information.